What's the hardest thing that you've ever had to juggle? Oh, nice axes.
Here's Johnny.
You've never juggled an animal?
Never. This is kind of like balancing the kid in the chair on the chin. You want to make sure the wife doesn't find out. Real axes. I've got a tile floor underneath me. If I mess up, I'm going to chip the floor. My wife's going to kill me. But here we go.
Is there anything that you can't juggle? Like everything but the kitchen sink, right? Like literally everything but the kitchen sink?
I spin a kitchen sink on a pool cue. I balance the pool cue on my chin, and I juggle 3 plungers. The reason I do that is I used to street perform. That's where I cut my teeth, was street performing for years when I was a young guy.
Wait, hold on. And, what did you say? Streak? I used to streak perform, and I got in trouble for that. Which range would you say you have in your career injured and maimed someone in the audience?
Oh, wow.
I'm comedian Timmy Boyle, and this is the greatest live Instagram comedy experience that nobody knew about. Oh. Hey, it is 7 o'clock on some day of the week. I don't even know which day it is. All the days kind of blend together, but it is 7 o'clock at night, which means that it is time for another episode of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. My name is Timmy Boyle from Upstanding Comedy, and over the last 18 days, this is episode 19, almost 3 weeks now, every night we've been calling comedians from all around North America, and tonight is no different, as we will be connecting with Max Winfrey, Stunt Comedian. What? Yep. You're probably wondering, well, what is a stunt comedian? That's what we're going to find out. Thank you for those who are tuning in now. We see a few of our regulars coming in. Thank you for making this a regular part of your day. Really, when I got home from the circuit tour a couple weeks ago, well, I guess 3 weeks ago today, and found out that we had just got in under the wire. It was a 250 person limit on the last day of our tour. I think it was on the Sunday, which is 3 weeks ago today, they dropped it down to 50. And within a few days after that, this whole thing came crashing down. And then I was like, well, I guess I won't be performing on stage anytime soon, which I thought was only going to be a couple weeks, but now it looks like it's going to be close to 400 days. But then I decided, hey, let's find a way to entertain some people, show people the offstage lives of comedians, and have a way for me to be able to connect with you and to connect with some of my buddies and other comics around North America. So this is a way for me to bring them into my living room from their living rooms, because we're all in quarantine, and then to bring both of us then into your living room, which is what we're doing tonight. Unless you're not in your living room. Maybe you're lying on the couch. Maybe you're lying in the tub. Maybe you're lying outside. Maybe you are hanging out with your pet tiger. That apparently is a thing right now, in case you haven't been following the whole tiger scenario on Netflix. I still haven't watched it, by the way, the Tiger King or whatever. I can't do it. I think it's going to be on my list of things that I haven't watched, along with everything else. Like, for example, Titanic is on that list. Frozen is on that list, and now Tiger King is on that list. Like, years from now, people will say, hey, you never saw a Tiger King? And I'm like, nope. What's fascinating to me is that there won't be anybody be going, you didn't own a tiger? It's like, nope. But what, not watching Tiger King, that's a thing. In fact, less people will be surprised if I actually own a tiger. Less people will be surprised by that than the people who are surprised that I didn't watch Tiger King. Does that make sense? Anyways. Roy says, or maybe you're just sitting around without pants on. True, not wearing pants. It's just my thing. Why would I? Where am I going to go? Oh, my mom's here, so I guess she's going to know I'm not wearing pants either, but my mom's been watching the show for a while now. So anyways, Thank you all for tuning in. We've got to hunt down Max Winfrey here and get him into the show. Williamson 523, thank you so much for tuning in. Let us go now and find Max Winfrey. That's what we're looking for. We're going to call Max Winfrey. I don't even know if you can see me right now as I'm going to be calling Max Winfrey. But I've sent Max Winfrey an invitation to have him here on Instagram for episode 19 of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. Max Winfrey is a stunt comedian. We're going to find out more about that in a little bit as soon as we make that connection. How are you guys all doing? I hope everyone's doing fine. I mean, I don't know if anyone, has anybody in here want to admit that you actually had COVID-19, or maybe you do right now. Like we're 6 feet away. We're one arm at least, maybe two, unless you have a shorter arm. But I don't think it comes through the phone. But is there anybody on here right now, as we're waiting for stunt comedian Max Winfrey here? Anybody here? Okay, Crystal's punny has a couple coughs, but it's not her. That's okay. It could be allergy season. I've heard people that have runny noses, and they're like, it's just allergies. Is it? I think not. I think you're probably carrying the COVID. Now it's almost like literally you fall down on the ground and scrape your knee, and they'll be like, you got COVID-19. It's like, no, I fell down and scraped my knee. And everybody like runs away because like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like now you literally could like hiccup, and people are like, you got COVID-19, and then they run and they scatter, and people call the cops. That person's not quarantined. Just relax, everybody. Anyways, enough about me. Let's bring in stunt comedian Max Winfrey here on episode 19 of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. Let's see if they're doing Cquarantine down in probably Orlando. Let's see. Max Winfrey, are you there? Live on Instagram at The Real Timmy Boyle. We're waiting. The technology is incredible. You know, could you imagine though, like back in like the days when people were like battling like the Spanish flu, they didn't have technology. Like sometimes we complain that the technology is not working, but the very fact that I can do some sort of show in my living room and you can watch it, like even if we have a technical issue, how amazing is that, right? Like in the Spanish flu, you were just stuck in your house playing like wooden carved out board games. Hey, Max, where are you? Let's go here. Wait, Max says hello. Let's try to get him in here. We're waiting. Let's try to make that happen. We know he's here. It's connecting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Max Winfrey.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm so sorry. I was fiddling around trying to get, I think I was watching Paul May for some reason, and then I couldn't figure it out.
You were watching last night's episode going, how come I'm supposed to be on the show?
I know. I thought I was watching you live, and then I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't seem right. So then I'm kind of fiddling back and forth trying to get to where I need to be.
It's all
I'm
good,
over
man.
50. Give me a break.
Hey, I'm just glad you're here. I was just saying that, like, the very fact that we even have this technology, like, even like technology problems, we could be back in like the Spanish flu times where they had nothing. Like we even have, if a technical problem happens, that's still a blessing.
Yes. I think about that, about what it must have been like for everybody back in 1917 and 18. Just getting the information now, we're just instantaneous on what's happening with advances, medical breakthroughs, and you know that gives us hope. But back then, they were just watching people drop like flies, and they had no idea.
They were just sitting in their rooms. Like now, you're not going to drop like a fly right now, are you? Like you're healthy, you're good.
I have been in a captivity for about a month now, so if I drop, I'm going to be so mad.
Look, and this is nothing personal, but I'll tell you what, if you were to drop on tonight's show, my ratings for the next shows are going to go way up. So I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to say win-win, but
I'm happy to contribute.
thank you. Roy here has said, welcome to comedians who are techno-challenged. That seems to be a common theme across this 18 shows we've done so far. We've dropped calls in living rooms and basements, and Joby tried to give us a tour of Nashville, and that went horribly wrong. But it's all good, my friend.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Hey, so where are you quarantined now? Like you're in Orlando?
Yes, I'm at home in Orlando. I moved about 4 years ago, so I'm a little farther west of Orlando than I used to be.
Okay.
So I'm in a town called Winter Garden.
Oh, that sounds so peaceful.
Yeah, it is. It was used to be a getaway for a lot of the snowbirds who would come down here in the 1920s. There's a big lake. I'm kind of in between two lakes here, but there's a big lake. It's the third largest lake in Florida called Lake Apopka, and there was a lot of homes around that lake for people to come down and get out of the cold.
So in the 1920s, so these were all people escaping the Spanish flu right down into Winter Garden.
I don't know, turn of the century, yeah. You know, interesting, my grandmother lived through the Spanish flu, and I guess she was I think she had to be, let's see, that was, she was born in 06, and that was 1917. So she was around 11 or 12 years old.
Wow.
And she survived the Spanish flu, obviously, and her brother did not. Her brother Lawrence did not.
Wow.
In fact, I think he gave the medicine to her. He said, give it to Anne. They didn't have much medicine back then. I don't even know what they were using.
Yeah.
But he said, give it to her, and he passed away.
Wow, that's
so
incredible.
Probably your older brother.
How long did your grandmother live till?
Till age 98.
Wow.
Drove into her 90s. Never had an accident.
But didn't make it all the way to COVID-19 though.
No, thank goodness. And my dad passed away just a few months ago, so he missed all of this, which is, I think, a blessing. He was really suffering. And, you know, they shut down the nursing homes to any outside visitors whenever a flu comes, and we saw that a little bit while he was there.
Yeah. But
thank goodness he didn't have to live through this.
Well, I'm excited that you're on the show tonight. Now, this is episode 19 of Calling Comedians at Cquarantine. For those that are tuning in right now, we're with Max Winfrey. He's on the bottom there in case your phone is upside down. My name is Timmy Boyle, and we've just really been calling comics from around North America, talking about comedy and life and how they've been surviving the quarantine. So, Max, I've been telling people, you know, you're a stunt comedian. What is that?
Well, I do a lot of circus arts and improv comedy. I bring people on stage and include them in the maniacal acts of comedy.
The maniacal acts of comedy. That's one of the best descriptions I could think of.
So I do things like knife throwing, balancing, unicycling, juggling mostly, but always trying to keep you laughing. And I love bringing people up on stage. I love working with people that have physical challenges. We've had blind people, deaf people. I love people that are in, you know, that have you know, we've had people with dementia up there. I mean, the thing is that I've noticed is that everybody loves to have fun, and the physically challenged love to see they love to show what they can do on stage.
Right.
And so, yeah. It's a lot of fun. You keep you on your toes. You know what it's like.
So
I've seen you work a crowd. You know, when you don't know what's going to happen, it can be a lot of fun, but it can be really scary.
That's my favorite part of performing, and I've told people this before. I do not get as excited about the possibility of the standing ovation, if you want to go to that extreme. I get pumped up that every night something could go horribly wrong, and that might be a sick thing within me, Max. But you know, mind you, but if a joke fails for me, that's one thing. If you drop a machete in the audience, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to leave that point about the standing ovation. I was working a show. I used to do, I had the blessing of working for Dolly Parton's organization. The Dixie Stampede, they have these dinner shows around the country.
All right.
They used to do one in Orlando. So I travel. I'm always getting on airplanes, but I had the opportunity to work there for a little bit, maybe some Sunday nights and fill in for the regular guy. And then Christmas time, I would do like 3 weeks. He would take time off. And so I was there working and just doing like the pre-show. I'd do maybe a half hour or something before people would go into the arena and watch the dinner show. And it's got horses, and cowboys, and so one night I had a lady, a girl in the audience who wanted to be on stage, and she had Down syndrome. And I love these people are very. They're just very loving, and they like to get up and be in the center of attention. So I brought her up, not knowing what's going to happen, but it was magic. And in fact, what I do is I try to set people up. I try to give them opportunities to be funny. So I open the door, and if they walk through the door that I give, all they have to do is be themselves. And this little girl, she was probably 12 years old or so. But she saw that she could turn the tables on me and be the one going after me at that particular point in the routine. And, man, she took the baton and she ran with it. When she left the stage, a hero's welcome, standing ovation for this girl with Down syndrome.
Nice.
I mean, just unbelievable,
They do you know comedian Derek Tennant?
Yes, and I've met him and spent some time with him at the CCA convention.
Yeah.
And I've talked to him about doing a theater show and using his sister on stage because I think she'd be perfect. She has so much confidence.
Oh, she's amazing, Julie. In fact, 321. I wish I had the link on me right now, but just as a note here for people to follow at 14 Sleeves, because his sister Julie has Down syndrome. And they're doing a shirt sale right now. She's got like a shirt business, Julie's Cool Shirts.
I saw her at the warehouse.
It's
amazing.
She's incredible. She's incredible, and she has the extra chromosome, right? Like you're talking about that love chromosome. So Marijane Baker has asked a question here. It's always been a goal of mine to learn to juggle. Do you have any tips for a beginner? What would be a quick tip you could give to somebody who wants to learn to juggle? What's the quickest way to start that process off?
I guess like anything now, there's so many videos on YouTube that break things down. There's probably some great videos. I'm trying to figure out if I had one. I had one on a DVD one time where I broke it down and taught people. But basically, when you're doing 3 objects, which is the basic learning of juggling, is called a cascade. It's like a crisscross pattern. It's a sideways figure eight is how the throws are made. So you're starting with one hand that has 2. The other has 1. You throw the one you always start with the hand that has 2. Throw that object first to the other hand. And so it comes over to the apex, shoulders width apart. It drops. You throw the other one underneath. So you're always throwing the objects underneath the incoming object. And scarves are a great way to learn. They fall very slowly. And that gives you more time to throw and catch. So that's the big recommendation is try to learn with scarves first. Yeah. And any kind of scarves will work. They're lightweight and they catch the air. So.
What about small animals?
Small animals, as long as they don't run when they get dropped.
Yeah, like maybe if they're passed away.
Everyone always asks me about that Steve Martin cat juggling in the movie. Which movie was that?
Oh man, I do not.
Oh, the nerd.
I don't remember.
No, I can't remember now. Great movie. Everyone's coming to him, trying to give him ideas or charities to give to. One guy's trying to wipe out cat juggling.
So you've never juggled an animal?
Never.
But you've done.
I did balance my daughter in a chair on my chin once.
What?
Yes. That was painful.
What's the hardest thing? What's the hardest thing that you've ever had to juggle? I imagine that once you actually learn the process, like starting with scarves.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Oh. Nice axes.
Here's Johnny.
Wow. Those are real.
All right. Can you guys see me? Let me see.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this chair out of the way.
Oh, sweet.
This is kind of like balancing the kid in the chair on the chin. You want to make sure the wife doesn't find out. Real axes. I've got a tile floor underneath me. If I mess up, I'm going to chip the floor. My wife's going to kill me. But here we go. I'll just do one throw for you. You ready?
Okay. Sweet. That seems easy.
That's all I can do. I'm scared. Scared of my wife.
Yeah, that's the man who juggles machetes is afraid right now that he might scrape the floor.
Yeah, I have no faith in myself. My faith is in Jesus, but not in myself.
So, is there anything that you can't juggle? Like everything but the kitchen sink, right? Like literally everything but the kitchen sink?
I do the kit. You saw, did I bring the kitchen sink on the tour that we did? Did I do the sink trick?
No, you can even juggle the kitchen sink?
I didn't bring that on the tour? Maybe I didn't. I think I had my real easy cases, but I spin a kitchen sink on a pool cue. I balance the pool cue on my chin, and I juggle 3 plungers.
With the kitchen sink on your chin?
Yes, with the kitchen sink spinning.
All right, so you officially have done it all.
The reason I do that is I used to street perform. That's where I cut my teeth, was street performing for years when I was a young guy.
Wait, hold on.
And,
what did you say? Did you say street?
I street performed as a young guy for years. That's how
I used to streak. I used to streak perform, and I got in trouble for that.
So that was your game, was streak performing.
I'm currently not wearing pants because I do that on all these shows because I got nowhere else to go.
So yeah, street performing, and people used to come up to me after the show and they'd say, "Wow, you juggled everything but the kitchen sink," and I just got tired of hearing that. And well, you're right. I don't juggle a kitchen sink, so I figured out how to put the kitchen sink in the show.
That's amazing. So, listen to these 4 ranges, okay? Listen close. So 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 plus. Which range would you say you have in your career injured and maimed someone in the audience?
Oh, wow.
1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, or 16 plus?
1 to 5, I had the worst experience. What, you mean the first year, like the first 5 years?
No, I mean, how many people have you injured or maimed?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be under 5. That would be under 5.
Okay, but tell me about this experience, though, now that you've brought it up.
All right. Now, to put this in context, I was... it
always has to be in context.
I was 19. I was working a theme park job. So I was street performing at a theme park, and I was doing factory work the other part of the year. I graduated high school. I was planning to move to Florida to try to be in entertainment full-time. That's where the full-time work was for guys like me. Mm-hmm. And this is 5 years ago. This was a long time ago. Anyway, so I'm working in this factory, saving up money. And the theme park that I worked at every summer when I was in high school called me up and they said, "Why didn't you audition for the theme park?" And I said, "Well, I'm saving money to move to Florida, and I can't just work your job during the summer. I have to work all year to make enough money." And they said to me, "Well, why don't you come and work when you can?" And I said, "Wait a minute, let me get this straight. You're offering me a job to come perform in show business when it's convenient for me?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm your guy." So I was working a hot, sweaty factory job that really took a lot out of my body, really difficult physical work. And then I would leave there, go home, sleep for 2 hours, then go to the theme park and do shows. And I'd try to pump out 6 shows. And
Wow.
so physically, I was really not myself. I mean, it was tough. And so I did this routine in my show where I juggled a baseball bat. That doesn't sound good for this story, does it? A baseball bat, a golf ball, and a football. And I'm in the
Okay.
middle of the routine, exhausted from working factory work and doing all these shows. And I would juggle these three different objects and, do the comedy. Sometimes the football being big and odd shaped, you wouldn't get a good catch when you're juggling it. You would bobble it.
Right.
Well, I'd done this for so long and so many shows that I could miss that football, and I would kick it as it almost hit the ground. I'd kick it back up into the pattern and save it with my foot. And it was reflex. It was just reflex. Well, this particular day I'm doing the show, bobble the football, my foot goes out to kick it back, and man, I punted a line drive straight at this family that's in the front row. I can't still, it affects me, but it's been long enough. I think the statute of limitations is. Anyway, I drilled this little kid in the face. Oh my gosh. And it's like, I see it and it's like, no. And man, line drive, and it pounds this kid in the side of the cheek, like just nails him. His head snaps back. And I'll never forget. It was one of those situations where he looks at his dad and then his mom, and he's just kind of dazed. And all of a sudden it hits him that this miserable, evil juggler had nailed him with a football, and he goes, ah! And he starts bawling. And I mean, that was, I go, I'm sorry, folks, show's over. And I rush over, and I'm comforting the kid. And I was like, it felt, you cannot imagine. It's way worse than offending someone with a joke. You physically hurt somebody, that's it. You're quit, career's over. I never want to do this again. And thankfully, the family was really cool. The mother and father, there was no hard feelings. The kid wasn't permanently hurt, so he quieted down, and they were, they would console me. I'm like 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, and I was just completely crushed because nothing like that had ever happened to me. Yeah, it's still, I look back on that and I just cringe. In fact, I really did quit. I quit for a good hour and a half. I didn't, and then they talked me back into going back out and picking it up and doing it again. But yeah, every time after that, I was just, yeah.
I kind of feel bad that I don't feel bad about laughing so hard about a kid getting kicked in the face with a football. I don't know why that humor is always funny for me, but I wanted to be a juggler at one point in my life. I've never been to the hospital for anything, and I'm a diver in baseball, a headfirst slider. I've had some sprains and those type of things. But the closest I ever got to a serious injury was when I was trying to practice juggling. I was in the backyard. I don't even know how old I was. My mom might remember this. But I was juggling coat hangers with a friend of mine because we wanted to get in the circus. Because clearly coat hangers that's how you get into the circus, with coat hangers. And I got clipped with the hook of the coat hanger. Got me right here. And went into the hospital. And literally they said, if it had been a little bit more over, could have done some serious damage, but it hit me right in here. And that was my one of the closest I ever got to a serious injury, was juggling coat hangers in my backyard to attempt to get into the circus. I don't know how you get into the circus, but that probably wasn't the route.
I got two stories related to that. I took a baseball bat to the head, right? I don't know if you can see I got a scar on my,
all right,
this side. I got a scar on my eyebrow from a baseball bat when I was a kid. The neighbor girl that lived behind us, we were playing tennis ball, baseball. She gets a hit. I'm on her same team, but I'm catching because we don't have enough players to catch and bat and all that. So all she does, man, when she hits that good hit, she slings that baseball bat. And I just remember seeing this baseball bat that was just whipping sideways. And man, it came back, and I got the fat end of that baseball bat broadside against my head. Wham! And it made the sound of like a home run hit, the crack of the bat when it hit my head.
On your forehead?
Snap back. I'm like dazed, and I put my hand up to my head, nothing. Put my hand back up there, man, there's like blood everywhere. It's like a murder scene. Man, we're running, get my parents, go to the hospital. Just 5 stitches, but I mean, you don't know, like if it ripped your face off. Whatever you can't see, it's like feels like the worst. And then the other story was my buddy was in the circus, and they were doing trapeze act, and he claims this wasn't his story, but he knew like another trapeze artist that told this story.
Yeah.
And you know, and when you're doing shows all the time, you get a finesse, and you get, you know, a style that you're doing for the audience, and it becomes like a routine. Well, they had this routine where they would add a bar to the trapeze, do the trick, come off the trapeze, grab the bar, and then sling it down to the waiting catcher who was down below. Right. And then this particular day, they had moved the trapeze, and the audience was now on the right. And the guy does the trick on the trapeze, takes the extra bar, slings it away with his finesse, and then realizes that he's now slung a steel bar way down to the audience. This kid who's watching the show reaches up and snags that steel bar out of the air, tosses it back over to where the people are in the circus, and that was it. He's back to watching the show. Just snag that steel bar before it just killed somebody.
See, that is the beautiful part about the sort of entertainment and comedy that you do. Like those type of things. Like, you know, the worst that's going to happen for me is a line might fall flat. But every once in a while, I try something, and I did a headstand on stage across this tour, and there's a video of it, and I actually fell off the stage. My headstand went too far, and I went right over and fell off the stage.
Wow. Landed
on my butt. The stage was like, can you imagine if it was like in a gymnasium with like a 5-foot stage onto a cement, but this was like onto a carpet, about a 3-foot drop. And that was the best physical fail that I had. But it turned into this thing. I put my hands in the air, ta-da, and I got up. And there are people who saw the show who came up to me and like, did you plan that? And I was like, yeah, of course I planned that.
That looks so real. I had that do this out of control unicycle riding. You remember seeing me do that on the tall unicycle?
Yeah.
When I first learned to ride the unicycle and put it in the show, I was already doing that out of control character, and I think I was touring for Disney. We were doing these promotional marketing tours out west, and I was on this stage where they had a bunch of decorations on the back end. These are big facades, and you know, Disney always had theme stuff. And so I did my act, and I got to the unicycle, and I'm riding out of control, looked like I'm almost about to crash, and I get to the back of the stage, and I put my hand up to lean on a wall. I usually lean on a wall at some point and get some jokes in and get some laughs. Well, I lean against the wall, and, you know, I'm doing a couple lines, but I noticed that I didn't feel right when I'm leaning against the wall, but the wall is slowly falling. And it's the edge of the stage, so on a unicycle, whichever direction you're leaning is the direction you have to ride in order to get back up get to the center, get upright again. And I'm at the edge of the stage, the facade's behind that, and I'm leaning that direction. There's no way for me now to ride it out and correct, and I just fall like a tree. And the whole like cardboard facade goes, I go, But as long as the laughs were there, that was the important thing. And I was okay. I fell, landed on my feet. It was all good. But that's the most important thing is getting the laugh and also knowing how to fall.
Yeah.
Knowing how to fall.
Well, getting the laugh even beats knowing how to fall.
You better know how. Yeah.
Hey, just so you know, that's the bell, so we're going to be having to close off the show here. But I want to do one thing with you here before we go. But before I do that, let everybody on here know how they can find you through social media, website, those type of things.
Okay, thanks. Facebook, you can go to Stunt Comedian. That's my handle on Facebook, just Stunt Comedian.
Yep.
And then also on Instagram. And my website is www.maxwinfrey.com.
Max Winfrey.
So Max is just M-A-X, and then Winfrey is spelled just like Oprah's last name, W-I-N-F-R-E-Y.
How in the world, out of all of the handles that are out there, how did you manage to get Stunt Comedian? You would think that that seemed like to be a handle that clearly somebody would have taken. That's amazing that you got that one.
I don't know. It's weird, and people don't know what Stunt Comedian means, so I don't know. I don't know how good it is, but it kind of describes a lot of what I do.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for what you do.
Stunts.
So make sure everybody on here, make sure that you follow Max Winfrey here, Stunt Comedian. As soon as you get an opportunity to host a live show, this is a gentleman you need to have on there. Puts on an incredible performance. I love touring with you, and hopefully we'll be able to do that when.
It was a pleasure being up there. And any of you guys that have outreaches, I also share testimony. We try to win people to Christ, and so. Yeah, I'd love to come out whenever we're able to gather again. I'd love to come out and see you guys.
So I want to show you something here. I brought 3 knives. They're real, and I'm going to juggle them for you. And I want you to just take a look at basic form before we go here to make sure. What's that?
You do not have to do this.
Okay,
I'm signing off now. I'm signing off.
No, don't sign off. I need you. Hold on.
I can't be a party to this.
Okay, but watch this, though. So this is my sleep mask. Here we go. 3 knives. And I want you to just judge the form, okay? So I'm going to be blindfolded, wearing no pants.
Why don't you just give us the sounds of juggling and we don't have to listen?
Here we go.
I mean, we don't have to watch.
Here we go. Ready? Okay. How was the form in general?
I think it was good. I would maybe learn with balls first. Might be. I'm just guessing. But I think if you could juggle 3 bean bags or socks and then maybe work your way up to something with a little bit of danger, that might be a better route.
Okay. So
I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
They're just butter. They're sharper butter knives, but I mean, I figured it's a good place to start.
Well, they probably will penetrate an eyeball. So again, the sock probably doesn't penetrate the eyeball.
Well, that's why I thought I would do it blindfolded, right? Protect safety first.
Yeah, but remember the coat hangers.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I needed. I needed somebody.
That's wonderful, man.
Somebody just to give a little perspective. But I wanted to try to impress you on some level. So
I was impressed, and
well, I want to thank you for at least looking at it. If you have any notes you want to send me to improve that. I actually didn't see what happened. I'm going to have to look at the video later because I was blindfolded. So I felt like I was landing it, but I won't know until I look back on the footage.
One of my favorite memes you did was you included me, you tagged me in a post where you were, it was just a picture of your sock foot on the floor
with
and
the big knife
stuck between the toes and the sock.
Yeah.
I thought that was hysterical.
I might repost that one because of this. I might put that one up tomorrow because that.
Yeah, please. That was beautiful work. Beautiful work.
Thanks so much, man. Max Winfrey, thank you for joining me here on Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. Stay in touch and stay well, and please, just say no to zombies. If you come across them, say no to zombies, Max. Okay?
Okay.
Your brain is for thinking, not for eating. Okay, that's my tip to you.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, Max.
God bless.
Take care, man. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Calling Comedians in Cquarantine. Please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and ring the little bell so you and your friends don't miss any of the laughs. Episodes will be uploaded here until I run out. And be sure to check out the description below for links to connect with myself or my guests on social media, and also download the podcast version of this show. Until next time, remember, your brain, it's for thinking, not for eating. So just say no to zombies.